Hello, my name is Matthew, and I've been working my way through the Norton anthology of English literature. And yesterday and this morning, I read Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. It's in this book here. And it's the first thing I've read so far in this book that I just legitimately enjoyed. Everything up until this point has been interesting, or a curiosity, or an oddity, or a surviving text, something deemed very important. Um, but Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, um, I just found completely entertaining, and it all hangs together really well as a whole. So it's a very tightly structured, completed work. And I had great fun reading it. It really feels like as if a country, like a town crier, has been brought in front of a crowd to tell a story. And you can tell because it's very um, fast paced and lively. It has a rhythm to it. It really feels like um, it has a structure of a song with verses and refrains. It has little ditties that periodically recur. I'll show you what I mean. So these little parts here, they pop up, and um, they're very memorable and they rhyme. But um, the story itself is an Arthurian romance, and it begins with King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table throwing a party, and we get this terrific description of all of the festivities. Um, King Arthur is there, and all the knights are there, and they describe all the food that's on the tables and what everybody's eating, and how everyone's partying, and um, and we just get a sense of the like virtuous nature and appearances of the knights and how they act and what their ideals are. There's a detail that King Arthur doesn't eat until everyone else has eaten, things like that. So then, basically a monster appears. He's like a giant ogre, and he's green. He's like half ogre, half man, and his skin is green, and all of his clothing is green. His hair is green. Um, all of his accessories are green. He's got himself dressed up in green. He has a green horse. So this monstrous, ghastly green image, this sight appears, and he goes in front of the knights and in front of King Arthur, and he makes a really strange challenge. I don't even, at first, it's hard to understand why he's there or what he's doing, but he wants to challenge someone to a beheading. So after a little bit, Sir Gawain comes over and he says, "Okay, you can try to chop my head off, but if you don't kill me, in a year, we're going to fight again." And so they agree. And the Green Knight is going to be the first one um, to have his head chopped off. And so Sir Gawain takes the axe and he chops off his head. And it pops right off. So there you go. But the green ogre monster isn't dead. Instead, he runs over, grabs his decapitated head, and runs out the door, and the head dangling says, "See you in a year." And so nearly a year goes by, and now Sir Gawain, who's going to keep his word of honor, goes off. He's appointed in armor, and he has his chainmail on and his best silver helmet and a sword and all the different things. And he goes off on adventures. And eventually he finds himself in front of the grandest castle that he's ever seen. And he's invited in by this lord. And I almost got a sense of like the island of Calypso a little bit, because he arrives and the lord of this big fancy castle just starts throwing parties, and it's very overly inviting, and there's kind of like temptations and different things happen there. They go on hunting parties, but finally he has to go off and confront the Green Knight again. And there's sort of like a battle at the end, and it gets silly. As far as the actual plot, not too much of it makes a great deal of sense. The reveal, or like when you start to learn about why all the things happened, why they happened, it's not necessarily satisfying, but it's such a great example of the difference between the story and the storyteller. The storytelling in this book is magnificent. He just keeps you, the author, who's not anonymous, they just don't know who wrote it. But the poet keeps you engaged through the whole thing. You want to hear this person tell the story that they're telling. And at the end, when you realize, well, it really wasn't that good of a story, it doesn't matter, because you enjoyed yourself the whole time. And the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting is this was a story of a legend instead of like a myth. This isn't like a mythological story the way that Beowulf is. And instead, it feels a little bit more grounded. And I think that is because of the narration or the storytelling, where you feel like this is someone engaging with you. That could just be a preference, but I liked how it felt like an Arthurian legend. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, I was really happy with it. It's Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And that's it. So let me know if you've read it, or just leave a comment if you would like. And that's it. So thank you for watching.